Everybody needs a hero. Most of the time, everyone wants a hero. And all too often, we get the heroes we deserve. But what if Drizzt is busy? Elminster is temporarily turned into a giant amoeba, fighting the dark germs of Bane in bloodstreams all over the realms. And you and your fellow heroic adventurers are triple booked and out of sleep and desperately need some bathroom time with some good comic books to read. Well, then it's time for the second rankers, the unknown heroes, and I just happen to have a few of them here. Years of published realms lore have given us many well-known individuals of the realms, including rulers and adventurers whose exploits would leave some to deem them heroes. But there are other, lesser-known or unsung heroes and heroines of the realms, and here are three of them one may encounter in the realms right now. Terrestra Vance, the Lady Ghost, is a female wizard and superb archer who for years has worked with her mother, Velara, and since her mother's death continued alone, to devise arrows that deliver arcane spells to whatever or whoever they hit. She can also cast spells in the conventional manner, and recently discovered some ancient Netherese mantle spells that she can wear as invisible wards moving with her as defenses in battle. Most reflect or absorb particular sorts of spells or magical effects. Many consider her a hero because she has appeared unexpectedly, sometimes alone, and sometimes with oft-varying adventuring companions. She seems to have many such folk up and down the Sword Coast and along the Heartland's trade routes linking the Sword Coast with the Sea of Fallen Stars, to aid travelers beset by brigands or by orc, goblin, hobgoblin, and gnoll raiders. She sometimes forms intense friendships with females of all races she aids, and may drop in on them or spy on them years later to see if they need more aid, and provide it. From her fighting skills to wealth to putting folk in touch with skilled others they need, or all of these for the same friend. Terrestra is known as the Lady Ghost for her habit of traveling in enhanced wraith form, which makes her translucent, ghostly, and faintly glowing. So of course, here you go. Here's the spell. Enhanced wraith form. 7th level transmutation. Casting time, 1 action. Range, self. Components, V. Duration, up to 7 hours. Available to wizards and sorcerers, if Terrestra teaches it to them. The caster becomes partly incorporeal, taking on wraith-like form, and is resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical weapons that lack blades coated with silver, and can use their reaction to momentarily become wholly incorporeal and gain immunity to the damage of that attack. The caster is also resistant to damage from spells. The caster can use an action to become fully incorporeal until the end of their turn, so they can move through solid objects as difficult terrain and avoid all opportunity attacks. If their turn ends within solid matter, the caster is ejected back in the direction they arrived from to the closest open volume of space and suffers 3d4 hit points of force damage. While in enhanced wraith form, a caster cannot make any weapon attacks or cast any spells, including cantrips, that require verbal, somatic, or material components. Their unarmed attack alters, from whatever their norm is, to dealing 5d4 force damage. Arggoth Halland, a Kalashite human male ranger of very dark, almost gray skin, jet black hair, steel gray eyes, and tall, lanky build. He has 3 parallel, deep-furrowed scars on his right bicep, thanks to a dragon's talons, and a family good luck tattoo shaped like a dark teardrop-ended vertical spindle around his right eye. A wanderer active up and down the Sword Coast and increasingly all around the Sea of Fallen Stars, Arggoth has slain many monsters and slavers. He harbors an intense dislike for humans who enslave or even just coerce others. Slaves he's freed and potential slaves he's defended revere him as the hero unlooked for. And tales of his kind deeds have made the rounds of the trade routes and ports, growing in the telling.
Okay, Ed, so of the items in your shop, which would you say is your favorite design?
Well, as a guy who has to do a lot of laundry, I'm going to have to go for this, the unsupervised wizard mug. I would enjoy drinking from this every day. But we got lots more cool things that we could come up with and sell.
If you are interested in getting any official Ed Greenwood adventuring gear, head on over to his shop. We will have a link for that down in the description. Or hey, maybe you want to support Ed in another way, in which case you can head on over to patreon.com/Ed Greenwood and become a protector of the realms. In doing so, you not only support Ed the man himself, while also getting access to a bunch of really super cool stuff, as well as early releases of all these videos, ad-free, but also you help facilitate us being able to make the best possible content for you on this platform. So, for now, we hope you enjoy the rest of this Realms Lore video.
Thank you. Arggoth is a loner, seeking a life partner he can trust and adventure with, so he's increasingly working with adventurers he encounters in hopes of finding such a life mate. He doesn't care what race or gender such a partner may be, only that he can trust them and that they share his adventuring interests and skills. Born in northeasternmost rural Kalimshan, Arggoth has always been a good climber, and as a youth hunted wyverns and perytons, graduating to blue dragons when spawnings to the east of Kalimshan caused young wormlings to invade Arggoth's home region in search of lairs of their own. He took part in 5 successful dragon-slaying hunts before the mother dragon came seeking vengeance, and he was one of only 2 survivors among the hunters in the epic battle that followed, with the mother dragon dead and a battered Arggoth dragging a sorely wounded comrade down out of the foothills to healing. Arggoth still detests dragons 2 decades later. In recent years, an attempt by Zentrim agents to frame him for their own smuggling in the Sea of Fallen Stars ports led Arggoth to begin hunting Zent spies and smugglers, which in turn made Zentrim mages hunt him. Thus far, he's slain almost 24 Zent wizards and more than thrice that many of their warrior bodyguards, and forced senior Zent mages to issue orders that he's to be avoided as too expensive to the faction to take down. Instead, the Zents are turning to local pirates to handle the last stage, shore to ship or vice versa, of their smuggling for them. Lurskag Thult, a kobold male of the usual mottled red reptilian appearance. He is agile and has superb balance, and so can climb, jump, and cling far better than many adversaries. He's also fearless, but not foolhardy, avoiding fights to the death in favor of relocating to fight another day. Like most of his kind, Lurskag doesn't fight fair. He makes frequent use of traps, especially along a planned escape route, and will flee without hesitation to avoid being cornered. Lurskag began his career among human-dominated society as a stealth spy for hire by wealthy merchants and later smuggling gangs in Athkatla. He later became a bandit preying on rich former clients and made a huge fortune in 1482 with a swift series of successful gem heists. Set for life, he made many covert investments to give himself a stable income, and abruptly relocated to the Sword Coast North, the Dales, and Sembia, managing to maraud in all of those areas because he discovered ancient gates or portals allowing swift travel across the continent of Faerûn. Lurskag is considered a hero by many because he harasses wealthy merchants and nobles who use their power to cheat, dominate, or coerce others. He dislikes anyone becoming too powerful without also officially ruling. He considers official rulers to have assumed the role of official targets, and so are potentially paying the price for their power. And for his defense of many coerced and beset Sembians and Cormyrians when the mercenary armies of Thultanthar, or Returned Netheril, or Shade, were marauding across those realms. Lurskag spied on mercenaries and slaughtered all he saw who mistreated women, children, prisoners, and non-combatants, striking by night and when he could catch them alone if he was too late to remedy their fell deeds, but swooping in to defend the helpless whenever he could. He was dubbed the Scaly Red Hope by someone in Sembia during these years when he tirelessly roved and fought, slaying even Netherese arcanists when they unleashed cruel spells on laborers or sought to enslave. These days, Lurskag still swoops to the aid of the beset, more often in Dales, Daggerdale in particular, than elsewhere, and reserves his special attention for Zhentarim and Red Wizards. He has begun to amass magic items he can wear and carry that heal him, so he can now survive attacks that would formerly have laid him low. And there you have it, 3 unsung, deployable heroes of the realms. Enjoy.